boys, what's good? It's Herm. We're here with massive trade news as Kyrie Irving, all-star starter point guard, has been traded from the Brooklyn Nets to the Dallas Mavericks to team up with Luka Doncic. They've been asking again and again to get this guy help. They gave Luka help. This is by far the best teammate that Luka has had. He didn't end up on the Lakers, the Clippers. The Mavericks pull off the trade. We're going to get into the details. We're going to break down all the pieces and then what the rotations for both these teams are going to look like going forward. This is the first massive domino of the trade deadline. Very huge trade. There are a bunch of other trades I think will go on. This could cause a bunch of other things to happen, but for the Lakers not to get him is devastating for the Lakers and their hopes at, having another championship with LeBron at the helm. It kind of felt like the Lakers were like the clear front runners to get him, and it just didn't end up that way. But let's get into it. Let's break it down. Before we do that, think about subscribing if you're new to the channel. Usually we have well edited videos, there's highlights and stuff, but I'm trying to get this out. So if you like basketball content, stick around. But let's talk about this. So the trade package. The Brooklyn Nets are trading Kyrie Irving to the Mavs for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a first-round pick, which has been clarified. It is a 2029 first-round pick, so a long time in the future, and multiple second-round picks. So this is what the deal is going to look like. The Nets getting Dinwiddie, Finney-Smith, a second, a first, and a second, and the Mavs getting Kyrie Irving. The trade machine actually has this being better for the Nets, but actually I love this for the Mavs. Spencer Dinwiddie has had a really good year. Honestly, Spencer Dinwiddie has been really good this season, but Kyrie is a clear upgrade. He just is. Kyrie Irving, especially if they want to lock him up long term, I really like this move for the Mavs. And even if they can't lock him up long term, I actually don't hate it because they only gave up one first round pick. A couple of seconds, Spencer Dinwiddie, losing him if Kyrie leaves is going to hurt a little bit, but adding Kyrie with Luka makes the Mavs legitimate contenders in the Western Conference. This is huge for the Mavs, and to steal him from teams like the LA teams like Phoenix is so big for the Mavs and their playoff hopes. I think this immediately vaults them into that top tier of Western contenders with Denver, with Golden State if they can stay healthy, with Memphis. They are right up there, and now Luka can carry a little bit less of the load, which I think will be great to see. Can he play with another, I don't know if I want to say dominant, but big ball handler like Kyrie Irving? Will he be able to do that? For the Nets, Spencer Dinwiddie returns to Brooklyn, where he was a 20-point per game scorer once upon a time. Was a really good player for the Nets. Like when D'Lo was there around that time, the really fun Nets team. They bring Dinwiddie back. They get a really good defender and a guy who has shown he's improved as a shooter in Dorian Finney-Smith, even though he's down this season. But let's look at how this could impact the team's rotation. So what is the Mavs starting lineup going to look like? I think most likely it's Kyrie at the 1 with Luka, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber, and Christian Wood. I think the only other argument here is maybe you take out someone like Hardaway Jr. for Josh Green or Bullock just because they offer you a little bit more defense. Off the bench, I don't love the backup point guard spot with Frank Ntilikina playing a lot of minutes there most likely, but that's okay. Jaden Hardy at the backup too. I think he's really impressive when he's been able to play. Josh Green as a shooter, defender, Reggie Bullock, and Dwight Powell. This team is really good, honestly. This starting five is really, really solid. I like the starting five a lot. I think it's going to be a good team. With Kyrie and Luka, you're going to have two of the most difficult to stop offensive players in the league sharing the same backcourt. Two all-star starters in the same backcourt. It's super cool to see. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it with the all-star game because now there's another guy in the West that's a starter, but they'll probably keep it the same. They'll kind of just call him like he's from the East Pool. But all-star starter Kyrie Irving with Luka Doncic in the backcourt. A really great dynamic duo in Dallas. And they have some other nice pieces around. Christian Wood I like a lot better as a number 3 than I did as a number 2. Tim Hardaway Jr., a little less pressure on him now to be a scorer, but still can be a good scorer, good shooter. For the Nets, I actually don't hate this. I feel like a lot of people are going to dislike this for the Nets, giving up Kyrie for one first. But Spencer Dinwiddie can be a good player for you. He's really good efficiency-wise this season, and he's a good scorer. So you bring him in, he's probably a little more reliable than someone like Kyrie, and you get even more defense with Dorian Finney-Smith. You probably start Royce O'Neal, KD, DFS, and then Nick Claxton to give you one of the best defensive lineups in the league, honestly. Especially if they throw Simmons out there sometimes. The defense on this team is going to be elite. I still don't love the idea of playing Simmons and Claxton together. I think that creates some issues. But defensively, this team is really good. Dinwiddie and KD are both good offensive players. And then you have a lot of really good complementary guys. TJ Warren continues to get better as a scorer as the season goes along. Maybe he can be a 20-point per game guy at some point. I still think they need to back up, like a better backup center than Day'Ron Sharpe, honestly. Maybe Ben Simmons can play some spot 5 for you, but I don't really love that. Joe Harris, Yuta Watanabe, they also have Cam Thomas, who I love, and Seth Curry as guys who can also be a part of this rotation. The Nets are really deep. They have one star at the top in KD, but Nick Claxton has been great this year and continues to get better. Dinwiddie can be a 20-point per game scorer, so honestly, I kind of like this for the Nets. I think the Nets made themselves a little deeper, and honestly, they could be even slightly better with this, even though they're losing Kyrie Irving, who's been phenomenal over the last couple weeks. But to have this team and to have Dinwiddie back, to have DFS as a great defender, I actually really like. I think they can be good in a playoff series. If Kevin Durant requests a trade after this, it's going to be bad. Like, KD requesting a trade because Kyrie got moved could be catastrophic for this team. But if he wants to stick this out with the guys, him and Dinwiddie can be a nice little offensive option. And honestly, with O'Neal, Finney-Smith, Claxton, Simmons, this team is good defensively. The Nets are good defensively. But obviously, the big winner here is the Mavs because of this two right here. Kyrie and Luka, can they work together? I know there are some concerns about the different personalities. Can that work out? Can they climb up the standings? Let's just look at the standings here for a second, because the Mavs aren't that far back. They're really close to like being where they want to be. If we just take a look at the standings right now, where are the Mavs? They are already 6th. They're above the play-in game. They're 5 games back of the 2 seed, but honestly, I think they could get up there. They're only 2.5 back of the 3 seed where the Kings are. And with Luka and Kyrie, I think they're probably like the second best team in the conference right now. I probably still like the Nuggets slightly better, but really solid. Let me know your thoughts. This is a huge trade, huge deal for both sides. I'm hyped for it. I think it's going to make the rest of the season super fun to watch. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.